Oh, well, my name's Fox, and so they can name it Fox. I had planned to do this review with my friend who took me to the movie theaters. I don't want to say her name on camera, just only because I don't know if she would want me to say her name on camera yet, right now or not. But me and her went to go see Gods of Egypt, and I had planned to. I did want to ask her if she wanted to be in the review and such, but my phone was dead at that point by the time we got out of the movie theater, so sadly I couldn't do the review then. So, sorry. So, I'm sorry, but this is a review of Gods of Egypt. If she watches this, but, you know. The movie right now is sitting at about, last time I checked it, 15%. And I will say right now, wait, hold on, I need to check to see what this freaking thing is rated. But I'll say right now, I liked it. She liked it. Gods of Egypt. I gotta see what this is rated. But it's rated PG-13. How do I put this? One, if you like Clash of Titans or Wrath on Titans, the new ones, the remakes, or the remake of Clash of Titans and Wrath of the Titans, Clash of the Titans, Wrath of the Titans. If you like those two movies, you're probably gonna like this movie. It's basically the Egyptian equivalent. But okay, so the story revolves around a thief and his lover, and the god Horus, because in this time, I would say in this point in time of the Earth, but yeah, I'll tell you in a bit. But within this point in time of the Earth, or this time in Egypt, the gods live among people. And you can tell the difference between a god and a person because gods are giants. And right now, the day that the movie starts, we get that through narration. And also they say that these gods, other than being giants, they have, of course, magical powers. And also the ability to transform into what I will call their god forms. I'm taking off socks. But, they transform into their god forms, which are pretty freaking awesome. They're like, best way I can describe it, it's like they're ancient Egyptian robots, and also kind of reminiscent, at least to me, and after I reminded my friend, reminded us of the show Mummies Alive, where if you don't remember that show, it's a show that came out, I think, in the 90s, late 90s, maybe early, I don't know, I'm not really sure, but where like these mummies had the ability to they're like kind of like superheroes, and they worked out of a museum, and they would transform into these powers where like the leader was a falcon, it would have the wings, the one female in the group was a cat, the other one was a snake, and then like another one was a ram. I think that was all of them. Eagle, snake, ram, cat. And then there was the kid. Oh, and then there's the actual cat. But, yeah. It reminded me a little bit of that. Basically, what happens is Horus, that guy, you know that symbol they always see with the eye for Egypt and stuff like that? Basically, the eye of Horus. Horus is going to be crowned king of Egypt, or pharaoh technically, but they always call him king. Okay, kind of a little bit annoyed me, but no, not really annoyed me. I would have liked if they would have said pharaoh, especially since I've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh, so I'm like, call him pharaoh, dang it! It didn't really annoy me, but he's being crowned pharaoh, and he is seen to be not worthy so much, although he's still going to be made pharaoh by his father, Osiris. Yes, Osiris, because his mother was Isis. So this is kind of, it's like Wrath of Titans mixed with the Disney Hercules. Let me actually, it's kind of where like they do actually, well, no, this probably leads a little bit more connection toward the myths and everything. But anyways, Horus isn't seen as, Horus is like, you know, drunk god and all that stuff. He doesn't really seem to take it seriously. And then his uncle Set, who is the brother of Osiris, comes in and basically takes over after giving Horus this horn and tells Horus to blow on it. Horus blows on the horn, and that signals for Set's army to come in, where the army then basically Set then says, I will become king. I will become king, and I will do it by battle. And he says to fight Osiris, who's an older gentleman. And Osiris says, "No, I'm not going to fight you, brother." And also, another thing that's similar to Wrath of the Titans is this staff that apparently Ra gave to Set, which is like, it looks like a piece of metal rod kind of, but then you hold on to it, and then like it extends out. It extends out with magic to like form like a blade and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. The weapons are actually pretty awesome in this, but and the action's not that bad. But this basically leads. Also, spoiler alerts for the movie. This basically leads to Set killing Osiris, because Osiris says, "I'm not going to fight you," and goes in for a hug, and Set just stabs him in the stomach. Also, mind you, I forgot to mention, gods bleed gold in this movie. And this is very important, because if they didn't, this would be a straight up rated R. Mind you, this is kind of the reason why I like this movie too. And there's actually a few twists in it, but basically Set takes over, and he also uses his shield to blind Horus while they try to fight, because Horus then tries to kill Set. Set then blinds Horus with his shield using sunlight, the blind Horus, and then knocks him down, and then grabs his eyes, and then pulls his eyes out of his head. Not the most gruesome thing in this movie. Pulls his eyes out of his head, and then basically I think we get narration saying Set. Oh, also this is being narrated by the thief when I guess he's older, because it's like an older man's voice, and he narrates saying Set took over the land. And also, like, I forgot to mention, Osiris said all men are equal and no one needs to pay, basically, to get into heaven. But when Set becomes king, he says all people must pay tribute to get into heaven. If not, you're going to hell. So, rich go to heaven, no rich hell. So, and then Horus is thrown out, and he's left in, like, Osiris's tomb. Horus's wife, or who was supposed to be his soon-to-be wife, who he apparently fought demons for, 45 or 42 demons, to save her, but she's taken basically kind of as a slave too, as well as the rest of Egypt are made as slaves to Set, which then this then leads to Set going on a campaign across Egypt, taking over and killing gods that don't bow down to him. The thief's love is stuck in this, basically the builders, the greatest Egyptian builder there is at that point. And there's actually a pretty funny scene where Set, he's played by, I'm pretty sure he's Set by Gerard Butler, yeah. The guy from, also, yeah, I forgot to mention, Gerard Butler plays Set, and then How to Train Your Dragon 3. There's going to be a How to Train Your Dragon 3. Gerard Butler is Set, and then for Horus, it's freaking Jaime Lannister. I believe it's Jaime Lannister. Nicola Costa-Waldau. Yeah, Game of Thrones, Jaime Lannister. Also in Oblivion? Really? Huh. But, And he basically plays Jaime Lannister in this, which is not too bad. Also, what's her name? Michonne's in this. The actress who plays Michonne, if I remember correct. Yeah, I believe that was her. But, so, the thief's love is the ruler of this, is the main architect who's helping Set build this giant monument to Ra, their father. They're supposed to be like, the top god. And, like, it's this giant tower, which there's actually kind of a joke where Set looks at the builder, the main architect or whatnot. He tells him, "Can you make it bigger?" And the thing's almost done. So he's like, so the architect's like, I will, like, well, not really at this point. We can't. And Set goes, "Oh, don't worry. I'm just kidding with you." And so so this, and also like I was saying, this, the thief's lover is this architect's slave, and she gives the thief, because this girl is like a true believer of Horus and everything. She believes Horus can save them, and the thief then it says that the girl says that we have to get Horus back, we have to get him his eyes, and she says basically in this chamber where Set keeps all his gold, you can go in there and find a way. You can go in there and grab Horus's eyes and bring it to him, because they want to escape. So if they escape, to go help a god, whatever. So the thief's like, the thief doesn't believe in the gods. He's basically an atheist, kind of. That's basically what he is. Well, not really, because he knows the gods are there. He just doesn't follow them. Atheism is more just you don't believe in anything. And even the other version of atheism, which not really, it's not atheism, but it's just like you have no religion, because atheism itself is a religion. In what was it called? Basically, he just doesn't follow any of the gods. So he tells his love, "Fine, I'll do this for you so we can get out of here." He sneaks into this base after looking at the blueprints for it. Sneaks into where the gold is, where there's a whole bunch of scorpions on the ground, where he has to then jump onto this platform where he has to go through these trials where if your shadow covers this one thing, spikes will come up out of the ground and then chomp down and then land back down. I'm thinking, just have that as the giant trap. You don't need anything else for that. But there's like 3 sections, I guess, so the thief has to get across all 3. He finally does go and grab the eye of Horus, which then he falls into the scorpions, uses the eye to get the scorpions back, and this basically leads to him finally escaping from there, going back to his wife, or his love, who is not set as bait for the trap, as the guards of the architect. They says, "Do you know I make a tight schedule and all that, blah blah blah, and I know that you guys were screwing in my house, but no more. Bad." So this bait, and then Set, I believe Set appears. Yeah, Set appears, and there it looks like the thief and his lover are gonna get killed, but the thief uses the eye of Horus, raises it up in the sky, and light shines from it, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, it's so bright!" So the thief and love run, again, spoilers in this review, run to the chariot, take the chariot, and then basically they're riding away. It's like, yay, they got away! Arrow flies through the air, shoots the thief's love in the chest, and he's like, "No!" And I'm like, what the fudge? My friend was like, what the fudge? She dies. She does straight up die. But the thief goes to Horus and basically makes a deal, gives Horus his eye and says, I can help you get your other eye if you help me, if you can bring my love back to life, because you're a god and all. And the Horus says, yeah, sure, I can do that. I'm a god. Why not? Turns out he's lying. Spoiler alerts, I'm sorry. But he's straight up lying. He's telling him what he wants to hear so that this guy could help him. And then this basically sets on through the adventure that they have where they have the idea where Horus really just wants revenge on Set. So, and also they have to do this within a few days or the thief's lover will pass through the 9 gates of the afterlife and then be weighed, and then if she'll probably go to hell because she has no money. She said like Anubis appears at one point, which also Anubis appears spinning out of the ground a little bit, like he spins around, and I just said, I wonder if he ever gets dizzy. But Anubis takes the soul of this guy's girlfriend, takes her to the afterlife. Well, not the afterlife, but like the path towards it, which also like they're solely going like by kind of the myths and everything, because there's a part where they go into space to go meet Ra because the Horus needs water from creation to extinguish the fire of the desert, so that he can weaken Set, because Set is the god of the desert, and that way he can kill him. And also that was kind of a cool scene because Horus tells the thief to stay behind him while they're near Ra, and the thief's like, why? And the thief will stay behind him in Horus's shadow, and the thief pulls his arm out of the shadows into the sun for a second, and actually burns him. Which I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. That's a cool little thing. And also, you see Ra every dawn, every dusk. He fights off this giant worm-looking thing, which is one of the myths. Where, at least in the myth, it's a giant snake that's supposed to try to gobble up the sun every sunset, but then spits it out every morning, if I remember correctly. And like he's trying to fight the serpent to make the serpent go away, but he always comes back. And also we see like there's a shot where Horus flies using his god form, which is like they're metal robots type thing, which is kind of cool. And like he flies through space holding the thief because I just noticed they don't have air there, but in space, but they go to space, and the not sun, but they see the planet, and the planet is straight up flat, and apparently right on the other side of the planet is the path to the underworld. So, yeah. Honestly, I was watching like, that's not how that works. That's not how that is. Even so, they even show like up the pyramid that leads like to the center of the earth, where it's supposed to be the flame of the desert. And like I'm thinking like that tube looks a little too short to go to the center of the earth. But hey, the earth is flat there. I can give that. But so basically, the two go throughout this adventure, picking up Horus's love, who apparently was the goddess of like, not the goddess of the underworld, but she helped the souls go through there. And she has this bracelet on that has the 42 star stones, where for 1 star for each demon that Horus slayed to save her from hell or the afterlife. And if she ever takes it off, the demons grab her and pull her back through. And these two go on. The thief, Horus, and everyone else, and Horus's love, and then also this other guy who's the god of intellect and wisdom. They basically go on this adventure, each picking up each god along the way as they head towards the flame of the center of the earth. But there's one Set kills a bunch of people. He kills a bunch of people. He's basically collecting pieces of gods, because he goes to his old wife, and basically when she tries to escape, he grabs her, pulls her down, and starts chopping away at her wings while she's yelling out for help, like blood curdling and screaming as her wings get chopped off, and then they form into like these solid metal wings. And then um, he sends like these buffalo gods type things to go fight Horus, and also Horus can't transform into his super god form until like he believes himself, or he has both eyes. He thought, but it's until like he believes himself. So he fights these buffalo guys, and this is one of the most bloodiest PG-13 battles I probably have seen, where he just starts chopping them up into pieces, and I'm like, holy crap, this is bloody. Then at one point he goes, chops a dude, and he cuts this one buffalo god's like body so well, the legs are still standing and you see golden blood splurting out from it. I'm like, oh, when I saw him, I'm like, oh my god, out freaking loud. I'm like, holy crud, this movie is violent. And no, I don't have anything against violence. Deadpool is one of my favorite movies right now. But I like, for a PG-13 movie, I'm just thinking, holy fudge. And because the blood isn't red, it can be PG-13. But oh my gosh. And basically, as the story progresses, we see again Set killing a whole bunch of people. You get a little backstory on some things like Osiris and Isis, where Osiris at one point was cut up into many pieces, and Isis had to put him back together. But one part that he was missing was his heart. Everything else was fine. God, magic. He doesn't need to worry about dying, I guess, from that. Not having a heart. I have no heart. Maybe, I don't know. I don't. Wait, maybe. I don't know. But, what was he saying? Okay, so yeah, he has no heart, and then also Isis. Does she become the? No, Osiris becomes the god of the dead. Osiris becomes the god of the dead in the Egyptian mythologies. In the Izanagi time, it's kind of a similar thing where Japan with Izanami and Izanagi, kind of, but that's more Izanagi trying to save Izanami, but then Izanami becomes basically the devil. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. And basically you have the whole thing where the thief starts kind of liking Horus, saying maybe my love was right, maybe Horus is a good god. But then Horus's lover, or soon to be wife, goes, you're stringing him along, why are you doing this? And he's saying, I have to. He's the one who's going to help me defeat Set with his skills of thieving, and he knows how to get into these things. Which you also meet, like, the god of intelligence is funny because all he trusts is himself, so he has, like, clones of himself helping him try to learn different things, where he then writes it all down. And I guess he was in hiding. But they needed him to break into to find out the riddle of the Sphinx, where it was, I'm never in the past, but always in the future. Everyone will know me. All people know me. I am never old, but I'm always new. I thought time, but I guess time can be old. I guess time, the god guessed order. I'm like, oh, I was wrong. And he's like, incorrect. Like, oh, it's time. And then he gives like a few other answers while like Horus is trying to fend off the Sphinx from kicking the crap out of him, because there's a giant Sphinx. I haven't said that yet. And basically he says, tomorrow. And they're like, correct. But as they're going in there, the gods get captured by this like cage thing. The god of intelligence gets grabbed by Set, and Set reaches into his head, and pulls out the god's brain, which is a glowing crystal-like thing, which shaped like a brain. I'm like, oh my gosh. And also, mind you, Horus doesn't have his other eye yet. And then the thief, all he had to do was pour this water that they got from Ra into the pit, and basically Set would be weakened. But Set said, don't do it, boy. He lied to you. I'm king, and I can't even bring the dead back to life. And And then the thief doesn't do it, saying, "Is that true, Horus?" And then, the sad moment, liar reveal scene. But then, after that, if I remember correctly, Set... I'm trying to think. Set, I believe, says that he's just going to leave him there, and then he leaves. And then, this is, coming close to the ending where... what was it? Horus is, Horus gets free. They just leave the god of intelligence because it seemed like he was dead. Horus's love, who was the goddess of death or whatnot, she basically says to make up for Horus's crime, or for the thing of for being against, for not telling the thief the truth. She basically gives him. He says that she's going to give him the bracelet that keeps her basically from being taken by the demons, and give that to his lover, so that the thief's lover can pass on the afterlife. Because we see a rich man give down a whole bunch of gold, and you see weighing the scale against a feather, and the feather, if it's heavier than the feather, they can use the money, and then they go to heaven, which is it's found out by a giant spinning coin. Because if you have the white side of it, you go to heaven, and it's when you pay. But if you get the black side of it, we saw an old poor lady who only had a one bronze band or whatever. She got her soul sucked away into dust, and before the thief's wife could go. Also, wait, I forgot to mention. Could go. The thief goes down there. Also, I forgot to. Sorry. Horus's love takes the band off and basically says, "I love you" to Horus, and then you see demon hands just reach from outside the screen, grab her, just pull her in in 3 seconds. Just, "I love you." I'm like, holy fudge. And Horus is like, "No!" And the thief goes down to this afterlife place and is about to give the bracelet to his love so that she can pass on to heaven. And she says, "No, I'm not leaving without you." Then, while this is all happening, it turns out Set is upgrading himself because he takes the wings from his old wife and in his god form has them melded to his body. He puts the brain of the intelligent god into his head, which it opens up, puts brain in, and it closes. Puts the heart of Ra inside, or heart of Osiris inside of his chest, and then he put the eye of Horus, how you see Yu-Gi-Oh has the eye of Horus on his forehead, like that. He puts the eye of Horus there. So it was the wings so that he could fly, the brain so he would know all, the heart so that he has dominion over everything, and then the eye so I guess he could see all. And then he goes up to Ra's ship, which is floating among the stars, and he's and he asks his father, Ra, because Ra is Seth's father, and Osiris. He's like, "Why did you give my brother a kingdom of the Nile while all I had was a scorching desert?" And Ra said, "And why did you never let me have a child?" And Ra says, "The reason why I did this was to test you both. I gave Osiris a kingdom to see if he would pass on the power without wanting to hold on to it. He passed his test. You have not passed your tests yet. For you, Set, I gave you no sons before. That way, you didn't have the burden that I had. For you to take up my mantle to fight the beast." Of course, Set doesn't like this, and Set says, "No, that's not going to happen. I plan to live among the humans and become the god, live forever, become immortal." And Ra says, "You can't do that. To do that, you'd have to..." And then, Set says, destroy the underworld. And Ra says, "No, you can't." no, you can't. And Ra basically gets super huge and uses his fire spear to shoot fire at Set, but the fire starts, like, doesn't burn him, and Ra goes, what? No god can withstand my, no god can withstand my power. And he says, I'm not just one god, because he's made up all the different gods. And he basically just knocks Ra back, grabs the spear, Ra flies off the ship, and then Set goes down to Earth and basically signals for the giant worm of the sky to come down and starts absorbing the Nile, starts eating towards the heart of Egypt. Horus and the thief kind of make up a little bit to where they say that they have to because this worm is coming. The thief's wife couldn't pass over yet because the energy is it seems like the world's about to explode, or the afterlife's about to destroy, and Anubis has to hold it in place. So the thief has to go back, and Horus and the thief head back to Egypt, where they have to then climb the top of this giant tower to then fight Set on top, where fighting Set on top of this tower leads to it leads to basically the two fighting, the Horus and Set fighting. And through this entire movie, there's I jumped over the whole part with the two giant snakes, but that was later with whatever. But which one of the snake riders was Michonne, but if I remember correctly, that was her, which I believe it was. But the snake rider, not snake rider. So you have the whole battle on top of the roof, and then right when Set's looks like he's gonna kill Horus. Horus says, "I'm just a distraction," and the thief jumps on top of Set's head, if I remember correctly, and then basically grabs the eye of Horus and pulls it off, and he gets flung back by Set, but the thief throws the eye towards Horus. Mind you, though, these things were like the different parts of the gods were like burned and melted onto Set, and this thief just freaking used the knife and plunked out the eye. So I'm like, wow, that's some shoddy work. It's still funny though. But the eye falls off the edge of the obelisk, the giant tower, and it's basically the eye's falling one way and then the thief's falling another way, and Horus has to choose a decision whether you go for the eye, go for the thief, and Horus runs and goes for the thief, grabs him as they're falling. Well, he grabs the thief and he's holding on to the ledge. He's like, "I'm sorry for everything I put you through," and the thief says, "It's all right." And then, but Horus uses Set uses Ra's spear to start melting the stone to try to like let the lava fall onto Horus and the thief. But Horus lets go, or Jaime Lannister, because the dude is basically Jaime Lannister in this. He lets go, falls, and as he's falling, Horus grabs the thief, and then suddenly he turns his god form. His wings come out. He flies the thief to the ground, and he tells the thief, "Are you okay?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm fine." He's like, "All right, good. It looks like I didn't need both eyes. All I needed to do was to believe. Ra set me on this path because Ra said that he wasn't worthy yet, and that life is a journey and all this." Which, yeah. But so then Horus flies back up, and when Horus flies back up, it seems that when Set knocks the thief off, he cut himself because the thief is bleeding. So Horus flies back, starts fighting Set, just starts beating the crap out of him, rips the wings off of Set. The two start fighting. Also, Set is looks kind of like Anubis, but even more demonic. And also, Set's Horus's eyes are blue, and then Set's are red. So yeah. Then also, you got like a wolf, wolf or dog, which are, animals of the ground. Then you have like Horus, who's like an eagle flying above. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. You got like kind of almost exact opposites, kind of. So you see fighting and stuff like that, and then finally Horus beats the crap out of Set, stabbing him, stuff like that, and then Set falls to the ground, changes back to like his humanoid form, and all you see is a trail of blood, golden blood, all on the floor as Set is crawling away. He turns around. He's all like golden blood everywhere. Blood just like pumping out of him. And he's like, and Set goes, "You can't kill me, Horus. I showed you mercy." And Horus says, "I won't make that mistake." Kills Set. Done. And then basically cut to later. The thief dies. And Horus is sad, crying. But he also, I guess one of the Egyptians there found that they found the eye of Horus and gives it back to Horus, and he puts it back in. And then Horus goes up to the thief, sees that he's dead. Oh, he first says that you would have made a great god, and the thief says, "What would I have been, the god of stupidity?" And he's like, "No, of doing the impossible." The thief dies. Horus picks up the thief, takes him to the tomb where Osiris is buried. But Ra then appears to Set because that happened to my chain. Set tells, or Ra tells Set, or tells not Set, Horus. Ra tells Horus, you did a great thing and you helped me, because Horus, I forgot to mention, goes up and saves Ra, takes him back to his floating ship in the sky. And Ra says, "I will give you anything you want." And Horus says, the only thing I want is something I can't have." And he says, "Don't worry, son, it'll be done." And Ra uses his powers, which they kind of said in the movie, nothing can bring the dead back to life. But then they kind of rewrite that a little bit. Then Ra brings back the thief and his wife, which I kind of thought it would have been kind of cool if the thief and his wife both died, but then they pass on to heaven together or something. But no, they both live. And then cuts a little bit later, Horus is made king of Egypt, when he says, "No man will need to pay for the afterlife in gold. They will need to pay in gratitude and being good in good deeds. That is all that he requires to pass on to the afterlife." Everyone's like, "Yay!" Everyone's happy, and then Horus tells the thief, who's now his advisor, keep this place running for a little bit. I have to go help someone. And then and the thief goes, "All right." The thief goes, flies up. Horus transforms his god form, flies up, and then flies through Egypt, and then goes diving down basically to go to the afterlife to go save his love. And also, like I said, that they kind of rewrote the rules. It's supposed to be that I guess if you're on the path, Ra can bring you back to life, but if you're past the gate, then you can't come back. But yeah, and then that's the end of the movie. And honestly, I'll say, one, I liked it, if only because this is a PG-13 movie, and it is the most bloody. And I don't even think I covered half of all the kills that Seth did. Halfway through the movie, I'm just like, how many people has this guy killed? I've lost count. He murders a lot of people. And you see the golden blood, girl and stuff like that. It is gruesome. If the blood was red, this would be straight up rated R. But there's no swear words or anything. It would just be rated R because of the gore. Not really gore, just all the blood. But yeah, there are some things I'll say, we could have saw a little bit more of the thief, kind of learning to trust Horus. And also, we kind of just see, one point they're at Egypt, they're in sands. Next, they're at a swamp area. There's just little things like that, probably little nitpicks, but other than that, I say it was pretty good. We saw it in 2D, so I can't really talk about the 3D, but it was pretty fun. It was a pretty fun adventure movie. It's 2 hours long, though, so it's 2 hours long, but I'll say it's a pretty good action movie. A pretty good fantasy adventure type movie. It's pretty good. I honestly thought the ending was going to be because the world was flat. Because they say that living is on this side of the earth, and then the dead are on the other side, like the path. I was assuming what was gonna happen was all of Earth. I thought like what was gonna happen was to protect Earth, or like to protect the afterlife, which is supposed to, you know, where the souls go, or whatever. I thought like Raw was gonna like shape the Earth into an orb, you know, make it round. But no, that's not what happened. But like, okay, fine, whatever. I thought that'd be kind of cool little thing, but eh. But anyway, it was pretty fun. The God of Intelligence was funny too. He says, I saw when the world was created, when all was created. And then the thief goes, how did you do that if you weren't even created yet? And then the God of Intelligence goes, if I told you, your brain would melt. By that, he means, it's magic. We don't have to explain it. Which I could probably explain it, but still, that's kind of what they say. But yeah, that was funny. It's a pretty good. It's a movie. 15%, maybe not. I would say 30%. Fudge with all the gore, fudge. But I'd definitely say check it out for yourselves. You have to see it in theater, maybe not. I would say check it out. But theater, maybe not. But it was maybe not. Maybe a rental, Netflix. If you want to see it on the big screen, go definitely see it on the big screen. There's a pretty few moments that I chuckled at. Because there's jokes riddled throughout the entire thing. Like, one point where they're running away from the giant snakes, and a horse tells the thief, run faster! He's like, as fast as I can run! And the horse then picks up the thief and starts running, and the thief goes, run faster! And the horse goes, this is the fastest I can run! It's pretty fun. Check it out for yourselves. Pretty good. Pretty good. If my friend wants to, maybe she'll be in a review with me, especially if I can charge my phone before we go. But it was pretty fun. Definitely check out for yourselves. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Please check out all my videos. To my friend, I had fun. But thank you everyone so much for watching. Please check out all my videos. And we will. See you later.